Hi, I'm Bonnie Barker with BonnieBayCrochet.com, and you've come to square number 16 for the Friends Around the World 3 2018 Crochet Along. This one is called Cut Cables and Columns, and I think you will find it to be an easy square. It's a very repetitive square. So let's go ahead and I'm going to show you what you need. For this project, you're going to need a size I or 9 crochet hook, and this is 5.50 millimeters. The bulk of the project is going to be crocheted using this larger hook. And for the perimeter rounds and the base rounds, I'm going to be using a size H or 8 or 5.00 millimeter crochet hook. I'm also encouraging you to have a yarn needle for hiding those loose ends. And as always, it's nice to have a pair of scissors handy. Well, let's go ahead and begin. Okay, using the larger hook, the size I or 9 crochet hook, go ahead and make your slip knot and crochet 42 chains. We are going to start with a half double crochet in the third chain, 1, 2, 3, the third chain from the hook, and then each chain across. So go ahead and half double crochet all the way across the chain. And when you're finished, you should have 40 half double crochets. That does not include the chain 2. I'm not counting that as a half double crochet in this stitch count. This is what you should have after row 1. And we're going to go ahead and turn, chain 2, and we're going to work half double crochets in the first 2 stitches. And then after that, we're going to work 4 front post double crochets. And for those of you who've never done this, for a post stitch, you have the hook go around the body of the stitch, kind of like a belt, as opposed to through the top. So we're going to do that in each of the next 4 stitches. Okay, now after that, we're going to form the first of many 4 post cables. In order to do that, we're going to work front post treble crochets, but first we're going to skip the first 2 stitches, 1, 2, and then front post treble around each of the next 2 stitches. Now, working in front of the last 2 stitches just formed, we're going to front post treble in the 2 stitches, 1 stitch in each of the 2 stitches that were skipped, and therefore forming the crossing of the cable. Okay, let's pause and take a look at this. You have the 4 front post double crochets, and then the 2 front post trebles after you skip 2, and then we worked and a front post treble in each of the 2 stitches that were skipped. Okay, now that is going to be our repeat all the way across. I will do this with you one more time. We're going to work 4 front post double crochets. Make sure that we're not working trebles here. These are double crochets. Now after this, we're going to work our 4 post cable using treble crochets. We skip the next 2 stitches, and then we front post treble in the next 2 stitches. Now, working in front of these 2 stitches we just made, we're going to work front post trebles in the 2 stitches that we skipped. And we're going to repeat this. Let's stop and take a look. Okay, so we're going to repeat this all the way across. Okay, in that repeat, as we're repeating this across, the last repeat will only be for the 4 front post double crochets. This way the pattern becomes symmetrical. And then we work 2 half double crochets, 1 in each of the last 2 stitches. So let's stop and take a look at what you should have after 2 rows. So we have a total of 4 columns of cables. Okay, at least that's the beginnings of them. So we're going to go ahead and turn, and we're going to begin row 3, chain 2. We're going to half double crochet in the first 2 stitches. This is the way each of the rows with the back side facing are going to be worked. Now this is the easy row. The odd number rows, you're just going to work back post double crochets all the way across the row until you get to those last 2 half double crochets. I'm going to work them over the first 8 stitches so that you understand how this happens. This is the cable that we worked. We're just going to work these stitches straight across. We don't have to do any crossing or anything, just 4 back post double crochets. Now when you work them across, make sure that you do have a total of 4 back post double crochets for each cable. So go ahead and work that all the way across. At the end of this row, we work the 2 half double crochets, 1 in each of those last 2 stitches. Let's go ahead and turn and see what we have. Okay, so we've finished the first 3 rows. Now the instructions are for rows 4 through 27 are simply to repeat rows 2, which is where the cables were crossed, 2 and 3 12 more times. So go ahead and repeat those 12 more times. After working 27 rows, I'm going to show you what you should have. You should have something that looks like this. So you have your cables and columns side by side. Okay, now what we're going to do now is kind of important. We're going to change to a smaller size hook. I'm going down to my 8 or 5.00 millimeter crochet hook, and I'm going to go ahead and, if I can get this, there we go. I'm going to go ahead and have the front side facing as I work the perimeter round number 1. I'm going to go ahead and chain 1, and working in the first stitch, I'm going to work a corner, which is going to be a single crochet, chain 2, and a single crochet. Now we're going to work 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way across. So there should be 38 stitches. Do not work the last stitch as you work across. I will show you what to do once we get there, because we're going to make another corner there. So go ahead and work those 38 stitches. After working those 38 single crochets, it brings me to my last stitch of working across the row. We're going to work a single crochet, chain 2, turn 90 degrees here, and put another single crochet in that same place. Now we're going to be working along the row ends, and we are going to work 38 single crochets evenly along these row ends. Now if you have to stop every now and then and maybe redo some of this, that's pretty normal. Let me give you an added hint. What you can do is find the center of the cable. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right about here would be the center. What you can do is put a little stitch marker about in this area. I'm just going to use my needle here and put that there. And so if you look at it in this way, you know that that's going to be about the middle. So half of 38 would be, what, 19? So when you're about in this area, you can figure that this is about where you would probably want to put the 19th or 20th stitch, okay, right about in here. So that can help you have an idea of what to shoot for as far as putting the stitches across these row ends, because it's not going to be exact for each row. Okay, we'll go ahead and work those 38 stitches as evenly as you can across the row ends. After working those 38 single crochets as evenly as you can across, we're going to go to the first stitch of the foundation chain, and we're going to work a single crochet, chain 2, and a single crochet in that same spot, and go ahead and work 1 single crochet opposite each stitch across. And a good way to find out where to stick your hook and how to distinguish where the stitches are is look where the stitches were crocheted for the row number 1 and then just put your hook in opposite of that, and you should be able to see the stitch pretty easily. Okay, so go ahead and work those 38 stitches across, and then I'll meet you at the corner. For the last stitch, after we have worked those 38 stitches across, we're going to make another corner. We work a single crochet, a chain 2, and another single crochet in that same place. And now we get to the other side where we're going to need to work 38 stitches across the last edge here. Okay, so go ahead and work those 38 stitches evenly across. After working those 38 stitches evenly across, go ahead and join with a slip stitch to the top of that first single crochet, which was part of that corner that we worked. Okay, now instead of finishing off for the next round, I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch into that next corner. And also you don't need to turn, because it's good to have, or we want to have the front side facing for all of these. First the perimeter rounds and then the base rounds that we're going to work in just a minute. And for this round we're going to single crochet in each stitch, and we're going to work single crochet corners like this, single crochet, chain 2, and single crochet, and then we're going to work a single crochet in each single crochet all the way around. Okay, let me just give you some stitch count. When you include the chain 2 corner, the first perimeter round, you would have 40 stitches on each side plus the chain 2 corners. For this round, we're going to have 42 stitches on each side plus the chain 2 corners. So go ahead and work that round, and don't forget, when you come to the corners, just work a single crochet, chain 2, and a single crochet. At the end of the second perimeter round, we're just going to join with a slip stitch to that first single crochet of that round, which was one of the corners, and go ahead and fasten off, because I am going to be changing to the darker color that I'm using for all of my base rounds. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at what we have here. So it's becoming a little more defined along the edges here. Okay, let's go ahead, and I'm going to get my darker colored yarn that I'm using for the for the base rounds, which are also perimeter rounds, but they're the final 3 rounds that we are using, and we're doing these in a systematic way so that we can connect all of the squares once we're finished with the projects. Okay, and let me go ahead and show you, and the information to printing this out is also listed below. The set I for these squares are right here, and they have 3 rounds. I'm going to go ahead and go over them with you as I go through this. You can join to any of the chain 2 corners, and I'm going to do this by working a slip knot and then pulling that loop through, chain 1, and I'm going to work a single crochet, chain 2, and a single crochet, and you can do this in any of the corners. Now the directions say to work a single crochet in the next 42 stitches. So we're going to work a single crochet in each of the stitches across until we get to the next corner. When we get to the next corner, which is all the way over here, we're going to work again a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, and we're going to do likewise all the way around the square. This round ends by working a slip stitch in the first single crochet, which is the first part of that corner of the round. Now you can go ahead and slip stitch to that corner space, and we're going to begin round number 2, chain 1, and you're going to work a single crochet, chain 2, and a single crochet in that corner. Now this is going to be a little different. We're going to skip the first stitch. We're calling this the hidden stitch, which was right here. We're going to skip that as we go across. The stitch count on the previous round should be 44 stitches on each side plus the chain 2 corners. For this round, the stitch count is going to increase to 45 stitches across each side with the chain 2 corners. So remember to skip the first stitch as you work across each side. So go ahead and work those stitches all the way around. Round 2 ends with a slip stitch in that first single crochet of the round. And let's go ahead and do a slip stitch to the next chain 2 corners and chain 1 so we can start the final round. This is the final of the base rounds. We're going to make 2 single crochets, chain 2, and then 2 more single crochets in that same chain 2 space. We're going to skip the first single crochet, or the hidden crochet, single crochet they like to call this in the Friends Around the World group, and we're going to single crochet in each of the next 44 stitches. Okay, and after we do that, once we go all the way across, we're just going to go to the corner again, and we will work 2 single crochets, chain 2, 2 single crochets, and don't forget to skip the first stitch as you work across each side of the square. So go ahead and work that final round. This round ends with a slip stitch to the first single crochet of the round, and then go ahead, give it a chain, and we're going to leave a nice long thread so that we can hide these loose ends. And let me give a quick mini tutorial on that for those of you who may be new to some of my videos, or maybe even new to crocheting. This is where your yarn needle comes in very handy. You can just thread that yarn needle, and it's always a good idea to hide these on the back side. And we're just going to go down a couple of stitches there, and you can just run this underneath the stitches just like I'm doing this. Okay, you just want to make sure that they're not going to, pop out or show up again, and give that a pull. And that looks good. And once I decide that that looks pretty good, I'm going to go ahead and give it a trim very close, but make sure you don't clip your crochet stitches. I have a couple more of these strands to hide, but let's go ahead and take a look at our finished product. Okay, we have this nice dark brown border. I just wanted to show you how nice it looks along the edge. It looks nice and even where the 2 colors come together. Now if I had used this dark color directly along the row ends, it would not look half as good as this. It would look kind of lumpy and bumpy, but as you can see, using the same color for those first couple of rounds really does help disguise a lot of the transitional space there. Okay, well, this concludes this video for this square. If you enjoyed this, please consider subscribing. Just hit that little subscribe button in the upper right hand corner, and you won't miss any more of the various videos I have. I offer videos from very easy beginning to intermediate. Anyway, God bless. Bye-bye.